All right, so we have the story of this guy who is now locked up, according to reports. Is locked up in custody, no bail. Okay, for deleting his wife, Hassan Teddy Adeyemo. Okay, and interestingly enough, he has a LinkedIn page out there, claiming that he was a clinical data manager, CDM. You guys know what CDM is, right? He has a LinkedIn page out there. I saw it claiming that he's a CDM. Let me see if I can find it actually. Hassan Adeyemo Teddy. Okay. Now this news is everywhere, so we're just basically reporting. But there's something else that came up on Naira. I saw one of my buddies posted it. I'll just show you how I found it in a second here. Listen, I'm actually seeing he actually has a TikTok page. Okay, he has a TikTok page. I wonder what is on the TikTok. What is going on? Let me see. There is a TikTok page here. These are children. I'm not sure if these are the children. Let's see. It's probably him. It's probably his children. Let's see here. Let's see this.
Where do you live? With my parents. Where do your parents live? With me. Where do you all live?
Oh my God. What is this? Let me see this one.
You say you love me.
Okay. That's his name. It's probably he probably using a TikTok account on his name. But anyway, that's that right there. Let me see. There's I'm trying to see here. So, because one of the news that they broke is that he's driving Uber. It's possible he could be an IT person and be driving Uber in between gigs. That's very possible as well. Let me see. Looks like they might have taken the. Okay, no, I found it. All right, so this is a page somewhere online. This page right here says clinical data manager. Let me see. Somebody's talking in the chat. Let me see. Sparkleberry said you saw it too. Okay, you saw that too. Yeah. Clinical data manager, Medtronic contract. So contract work. Yeah, it's possible he's driving. He also was an Epic support specialist person, consultant, healthcare consultant person. Well, yeah, those gigs don't often come frequent for most people. So he might have had to drive Uber in between, might have a lot of moments when he's broke. Yeah, it is what it is. All right. So, but this is the wife. Let's talk about it. So I saw this post on Instagram from one of my buddies online, Humble Prince, the guy that I played this interview the other time with Stella Damasos. Right? Let me see if I can find it real quickly. Where is it? There you go. This post. So I saw this post of them feeding each other. And then she looks like there's a gap in her tooth at this point, and it looks like she might have fixed her teeth before she passed. But that's them. That's another picture of them that we're seeing for the first time. So the news, this was the original news. I'm just going to read it real quick so I can bring you up to speed. This is all we knew up to recently. Well, until the news that Natu also had somebody told her on the last episode we did, right? Somebody who was apparently close to their circle. But this was the news. A Nigerian man identified as Hassan Teddy Adeyemo has been arrested on the first degree charge, bike charge, deletion charge, after he allegedly, deleted his wife in East Orange County, Florida. The sheriff's office said. The county police in a statement said the police said deputies responded to Taxiway Circle, which is in a residential area near the Conway neighborhood, at about 7:20 p.m. Saturday August 27, 2023. That's a few days ago. Yep. All right, good. All right, I'll get to that in a second. Thank you, Anatu. Got it. They arrived to find 43-year-old Nashin Hassan Adeyemo, that's her name, Nashin, who had been, deleted. She was taken to an area hospital where she passed. Detectives identified Adeyemo's husband, 46 years old Hassan Teddy Adeyemo, as a suspect in the deletion. He was jailed on the first degree, deletion charge. The sheriff's office didn't release any additional details on the deletion beyond saying it was domestic in nature. Ouch. Hassan Adeyemo is being held without bail at the Orange County. All right, so I'm going to get to the rest of this story later. There's another story down there. I'm going to get to it. But we saw this on Naira Land, right? But let me go back to... Okay, so back to here. My friend Humble Prince. I should find a way to drag Humble Prince here sometimes, if you will. He said, "Why I Deleted My Wife" by Hassan Adeyemo. This is sad. Still doesn't justify deleting her. I wish he had found other ways to heal rather than resort to, the DV, right? Hurt people. May her soul rest in peace. And may God console the hearts of those she left behind. All right. So, and I saw this link and I'm like, what to be this kind of link? And my friend here, you guys remember Sheon? Sheon is due back here anytime soon too. Sheon posted package story. Humble Prince packaged. Hopefully his children will serve as witness and get the much needed justice for their mother. Right. All right. So I'm going to come back to this comment because I'm seeing somebody calling people mad already here. But let me read this. This is the post on Narrowland that's been floating around for 24 hours now. The story has lots of cap in it already. The cap, whenever I call cap here, let me just tell you, it's not me saying that people are necessarily lying. Okay? I'm saying there are loopholes. Sorry, there are holes in the story. I'm saying I'm reading the tone of the story, okay? I am, yes, speculating to an extent as well, right? But I'm also letting you know that if this is how you tell stories, that you're telling on yourself because it reflects your mindset. It reflects the mindset of the storyteller. And I'm talking more so about the mindset, not judgment. We can't judge here. We're not capable of judging people here, okay? We can only talk about the things in the public domain, right? Because a lot of people take that personally. It's like, well, we need to hear the other side of the story. No, not necessarily. If you hear the other side of the story, it will give us additional context, not necessarily the absolute truth. Okay? But in terms of the lessons we can extract, we can start by reading what we have in front of us and learning from the mindset of the person that's telling the story. And that's what we do here for the most part, just so you know, okay? In 1998, a 21-year-old Nigerian soldier named Hassan Adeyemo from Ibadan met and fell in love with an 18-year-old beautiful Hausa girl from Bauchi called Sarah. It was love at first sight. They got married in 1999 and got blessed. Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me not blind you. Let me put the right thing on the screen so you can just listen to me. Hold on 1 second. There you go. Okay, it's better this way. Okay, all right, so you can listen to me. Okay, they got married in 1999 and God blessed them with a beautiful daughter in 2000. That's 23 years ago. After her, they had 2 other daughters and 1 boy. 2 daughters, 3 and 1 boy. Okay. Making 4 kids. Hassan loved his wife so much and told her not to work because of stress. He was providing everything she ever wanted for her and the kids. In 2014, Hassan wanted a better life for his family. So With his wife's agreement, he decided to send them to the US. Sarah and the kids entered the United States in 2014. Before they got there, Hassan already arranged a rented house and a car for them. Sarah wasn't working. Hassan was sending big money to them for upkeep from Nigeria every month. Despite the distance, Hassan bonded with his wife and kids. Everyone was happy. Hold on 1 second. All right. In 2017, Hassan, he had missed his family so much, decided to relocate to America and stay with them. Before Hassan got to America, Sarah had started their air braiding. Hold on a second. Sorry about that. She had started her hair braiding just to keep herself busy when the kids were in school. Everyone loved her and the way she braided beautiful styles. Gradually, she became a household name in Orlando, Florida. Ladies flooded her to do their hair. Okay? The unfortunate victims of the tragedy. What she was doing for fun became something big overnight. Hassan entered the US and things were going smoothly. Hassan, who was a big man in Nigeria. So they're painting a picture here. I want you to pay attention to the picture they're painting. Right? They're painting one person one way, they're painting the other person another way. And I would like to see what you guys think as I'm reading through in the comments, okay? Right? He was a big man in Nigeria, okay? They already painted the picture. He takes care of his family. That's what we're getting right now, which is very possible, right? Left everything and came to America to start all over with menial jobs. Okay, he had no papers yet, so he was doing jobs that paid him peanuts. God blessed them with a baby boy in 2018, making their children a total of 5. Sarah was making at least $1,000 a day. I'm guessing that's $1,000 a day, with the help of her daughters who she had trained. She was very fast and efficient in braiding. With this income, she was able to support the family with all expenses because Hassan's income couldn't meet up with the expenses and bills. Hassan got his papers and started Uber and delivery jobs. He worked from day to night and started contributing his quota to the family. But his contribution was like change to his wife, Sarah, was making. In effect, Sarah became the breadwinner of the house. Issues started because Sarah was always complaining that Hassan couldn't afford her lifestyle. She became the children's favorite because she gave them everything they asked for. While their dad could not meet up, Sarah entered the house whenever she wished. She became the boss, always calling Hassan lazy and useless, while Hassan always appealed to her for peace to reign. Hassan, a gentleman, didn't like trouble in any form. A gentleman. A gentleman. Let me tell you something before I continue, right? If you they do shalaye with no evidence, you go shalaye, you explain, tire. Explain, because no evidence. No evidence. But let's continue. All right, so it just started because Sarah was always complaining that Hassan couldn't afford her lifestyle, right? So that statement already right there told me cap, because she obviously could afford her own lifestyle off of the same story that the writer painted, right? So maybe she's complaining for other reasons, but it doesn't sound like because he couldn't afford her lifestyle. Sounds like there's more to that side of things. Again, this statement issues started because Sarah was always complaining that Hassan couldn't afford her lifestyle. What else is she complaining about? I would like to know. I'm not saying that one is a lie, but what else could she be complaining? Nothing. She's just a gold digger. Really? Yeah, okay. All right, let's continue. She became the children's favorite because she gave them everything they needed. I'm reading back now. Sarah entered the house whenever she wished. She became the boss, always calling Hassan lazy and useless. While Hassan, a gentleman, didn't like trouble in any form. Sarah and the children formed their own group in the house. They gang up against the man of the house. Can you imagine? And abandoned their dad to always sort himself out. Sarah stopped cooking for him. That's where this came from. She stopped cooking for him. This thumbnail, that's where that thumbnail, she stopped cooking. That's where that came from. Hassan became depressed and was always begging friends and family members to help talk to his wife. Well, that would do it. That will destroy your family too. Okay? If you're begging family and friends to beg your wife, that would destroy your family. On paper, I know how that might make sense to you. Like, I've tried everything, right? I get it. But we'll talk about that. Hassan was always crying like a baby, saying Sarah made him feel less of a man in the house. Emasculate? Emasculate? What's the word? Oh Lord, the popular word. Jesus Christ. Anyway, let's continue. His friends encouraged him to persevere and ignore whatever she did. In January 2022, Sarah announced to Hassan that she had bought a house. They moved into the new house and she continued to treat him very badly. She disrespected him so much. Quote, "Leave my house if you cannot obey me, you irresponsible man." End of quote. She would often say she locked him out in the cold so many times and threw his things out. Are these things possible? Yes. But we're calling cap. Okay? We're calling cap. Just what we believe, what we don't believe. That's all. We're not judging. Just what we believe, what we don't believe. Especially that we know how these things play out in real life. Okay? All right? We're calling cap not because that statement could not be true. She locked him out in the cold so many times and threw his things out. That's very possible. But with the sequence that the story is coming with, is highly unlikely that's what happened. It's very much likely that there's more to the story. Okay? That's all I'm saying. The children were on their mother's side because she was the provider. Okay. The manipulation using the children's name also is heavy. I don't know if you know this. The children took his side. They left him alone. All that is also heavy. Just pay attention to that, okay? The children, just so you know, yes, they're watching what you do by example, but oftentimes they get to make up their own mind too, based off of your conduct in your worst moment. Okay? In your conduct in your worst moment, not your good moments, because there's a good chance you're thinking about your good moments. After all, you've been there all the which is how they started, right? Your conduct in your worst moment is what will hunt you down. I know it sounds unfair. What about all those good times? I know, but this is the reality for every one of us. So to get to, everybody has to, especially gentlemen, you have to deal with this, and you have to be okay with it because it's just a reality. The children were on their mother's side because she was the provider. Hassan became very depressed and started having, self-deletion thoughts. He told his friends how life is unfair. What did I just say? Unfair, right? And that he would delete himself. Okay? They advised him to leave the marriage because it was obvious that his wife was no longer in love with him. But he kept on asking, where will I start from? I love my wife, a woman I have invested all my life in, the only woman I have ever loved. What did I do to deserve this from her? Okay. April 2023, Sarah told him, this is just like yesterday, like a few months ago. April is 5 months ago. Okay. April 2023, Sarah told him she had bought another house, that this particular house is specifically for her and her customers. Okay, she's bought a new house and this house is for her and her customers only. She told Hassan to hold on to the boys while the girls followed her to the new house. Hassan was like, why do you want to separate the family? She said, if everyone followed her to the new house, it would disturb my customers. She then told the husband that he could bring the boys over for weekends, but he can't come with them because I, quote, because I need my privacy. People tried to talk to Sarah, but she wouldn't listen. Hassan agreed, hoping that his wife would change her mind. Okay? Now, let me pause for a second. Is it possible that pride can get in a woman's head and this will happen? To a large extent, the story is true. Yes, please. Let's make that a yes, because it's the reality of a lot of people as well. Okay? The only thing I'm digging through right now is the person that talks will tell on themselves. The person that's doing the most talking will tell on themselves. And that's what I'm paying attention to here. Okay? Hold on, sorry about that. Here you go. People tried to talk to her, but she wouldn't listen. Hassan agreed, hoping that his wife would change her mind. On August 21, 2023, it's like a few days ago. That's literally 15 days ago. Sarah informed Hassan that she would like for her sons to move in with her. While Hassan remains in the old house, she instructed Hassan to move all of her remaining property and that of the children from the old house where Hassan was staying to the new one where she lives. She then told Hassan that whenever he wished to see the children, he should let her know so she can arrange for the visits. So Hassan told her he would do as she had instructed and take the remaining property of hers to the house on Friday night, which he did. Sarah didn't let him enter the house. She took all the belongings he brought and the babies and left Hassan outside. Hassan remained at the door for almost an hour, knocking. Sarah refused to open the door for him. Okay. The following day, August 26, was Hassan's 46th birthday. Early that morning, Sarah sent him a message. Happy birthday, friend. We are better off as friends than lovers. On his birthday? Okay. You need to look for where you'll be staying because I have to get rid of the old house. I wish you well in life. I have moved on. Okay. Now let me pause for a second here. We have moved on. We're almost done. I don't have much choice than to take this story on face value first. Okay? On face value first, this is just a sad story altogether. Right? It's just a bad, sad story. Okay? And ladies, you need to understand that men are humans. Okay? I know I'm saying that in words, and you probably knew that already. But you need to internalize that all the way. Like, make it a thing. Like, normalize the idea that men are human beings. Okay? But particularly, they don't have the luxury of expressing their emotions. Anyhow, no one is going to save them off the street when they start crying like a bitch. They're going to say, get your ass up and stop crying. That's the reality. Well, men enabled it, maybe you're right, okay? Women enabled it, maybe you're right, but it's the reality, nonetheless, of the reality of men, okay? So, some of them, is this an excuse? No, it's not an excuse, okay? I'm just basically highlighting what we already see here, right? You just don't know where people are coming from, okay? So that kind, I say this all the time. Text messages are not for emotionally charged conversations. Therefore, I love you. Therefore, happy birthday. I'll talk to you later. That's what text messages are for. They're not for things like, you lazy man. They're not for that. You see, you are doing that stupid thing again. They're not for things like that, okay? Because just like we always say when it's comfortable, right? Just like we always say when it's convenient, right? You don't know anybody's threshold when it comes to emotions, right? As far as he's wrong, yes, he's going to jail for the rest of his life, if not completely deleted. That's the reality. I just want us to pay attention to that before I go into all the extra nuances that will be complete speculation by default, because I'm just reading and they're telling on themselves in the story as well. But I wanted to say that because it's very, very important that I say that, right? It's not a crime that a person wants to move on from a marriage, okay? But much wisdom is needed on how you do that. Very, very important before I continue into the rest of this analysis, okay? Anyway, so you need to look for, and I quote, this is what she reportedly, allegedly said. You need to look for where you will be staying because I have to get rid of the whole house. I wish you well in life. I have moved on. A few hours later, the children called their dad to get some groceries. And he told them he would bring them in the evening. So the children probably had no idea what text messages. If this story is true, they had no idea what text messages were exchanged, right? They probably didn't. He told them he would bring them in the evening. At about 6:30 p.m., he called the kids that he was on his way to the house with the groceries. When he got there, he knocked and the children opened the door for him. Hassan then asked for their mom. They told him he was in the shower. They told him, I guess she was in the shower. It's a she, right? There's a typo here that say he. Okay. Nigerians, I make that mistake too. Let's continue. He entered and went to the bathroom. Brought out, the Inri tutu. And basically deleted her by way of the head, in the chest and in the leg. He then called 911. Hello, I just deleted the bitch. This is the address. I'm waiting for you. He sat down on the floor beside Sarah's body. The cops came and the first responders rushed Sarah to the hospital. She was still breathing and she passed 2 hours after she got to the hospital. Mr. Adeyemo is now at the Orange County Jail in Florida. He is most likely facing a deletion sentence or life in prison without parole. Now, here's the thing. That's the end of the story right there. This story was painted to manipulate women to japa marriage to just accept anything. That's what this story is trying to do. Okay, that's what I'm reading through it. I'm not saying it's not true. Remember, somebody wrote the story and they painted a certain type of picture. The idea is to manipulate you, if you're a woman, that just accept anything. Okay? The truth is that nothing lasts forever. Sometimes it's by way of till death do us part. Sometimes it just runs its course. Okay? That's what I'm reading in this thus far. Okay? There's a lot of children taking sides. She doesn't cook anymore, right? All this kind of stuff. Yes, it would be nice for your woman to cook, but if your woman stopped cooking, if you want her to cook, there's a way to go about that, right? If you have a woman who is making a lot of money and your circumstances happens to be a situation where you're not able to make money, that's temporary. If you don't believe that's temporary, you're going to act like a maniac. You're going to act mad. Okay, and it will affect, it could destroy everything you've ever been cooking. Speaking of cooking, right? So you need to realize, first of all, believe in yourself that it's temporary. If you believe in yourself that's temporary, your woman will follow suit because you are leading in that respect. If she has pride, if you are sensing pride in that moment in time, how you respond to that is still your responsibility. How you react to that, still your responsibility. In fact, how you take care of yourself. In fact, how you assess yourself for your temperament is always your responsibility. Okay? Now, the village is responsible overall. Because when it becomes life and death, the village, we need to really talk this. We need to talk about this. We need to talk about this. Okay? So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna fly through some of your comments. Okay, I'm not sure I can cover the other story today. I think we should just focus on this. I don't know. Even reading it stressed the shit out of me, man. Honestly, I'm being honest with you. Even just reading it stressed me out. I'm just being honest with you. Okay. Oh, let's see. I'm just gonna drop the link, and then I'll go through the chat, and then we'll go from there. I'm gonna come to your chat right now in a second. All right. Play message. All right. So let's do that. All right. So let's come here. That was stressful. Jesus, I could feel. Let me drink some water, I beg. All right. When you're ready, okay. I dropped the link already, Natu, when you're ready. I can't even imagine what those children are going through. Yeah, it's going to take a minute. She's from Plateau State, not Bauchi. Ninja ain't no soldier because he was unable to prove it. Yeah, so here's the thing. This is going to be a court case. It's going to be public records. As this story uncover itself, we'll try to cover it, okay? I will try to remember to keep coming back to it. It's going to be public records. Then we can see what the evidences and stuff say in the court. All right. They love these Cinderella narratives as though the woman had a missing shoe. Marriott, what's going on with you? Where have you been? A missing shoe, and it was a prince providing everything. Yeah, that's what that person was trying to do, obviously. Whoever wrote the story was to make Hassan look like a victim. Bloggers. So they paid bloggers to do that, probably. Trying to control narrative is too late now. It was a big man, right? I sense bias in the story. Yep. Here it says Cap. Does this person know them personally? Well, we don't know. It's posted on Nairaland. Okay. .com. So just to prove that, it's right here on Nairaland forum, which has been there forever, by the way. This is one of the oldest Nigerian websites. So it was posted here. The user is somebody called Colidia. I don't know what it is, but it's been spread around different places too. Again, like I said, I saw it through Humble Prince first. All right. She probably became the children's favorite because she was caring towards the kids. It's probably more so care. Anytime people focus on money in their ideologies, they fail. I call Cap instantly because money follows value, not the other way around. Money follows value, not the other way around. When I say value, a heavy part of that composition is emotions. Okay? Yes, even when we're talking about the stock market. Okay? Notice how they frame his hard work as positive and hers for the family as negative. I didn't even know you were Yoruba, Marriott. I had no idea. So they're over here lying with that article. Again, I had to take it on face value because it's a report first, right? And say, hey, it's possible that there's elements of truth in this story. Just because of that alone, we should look at it as, okay, let's look at this as this. Okay, understand that there's some people are mad already. By the time it's showing up, it's too late. By the time you realize that they are mad, there's a lot of damages, irreversible damages already. So you have to look at that first squarely before we get into the analysis. Gentleman called gentleman. Gentleman that carries Ibon, our people shall, and they need to shalaye. You see, exactly. When I was reading it to my wife last night, I was like, as a gentleman, except that it's deleted the whole person. Okay, all right. Let's continue. Like, okay, I don't know why you need to tell me he's a gentleman. It's too late to start doing that shalaye right now, because you go shalaye, explain tired.
You go explain because no evidence.
No evidence. The children are also enemy combatants. Yes, the story painted the children as enemies. And that's one of the major reasons why I look at the story sideways. Okay. Let's see. Let's continue. Oh, emasculate. May God help me. I can't keep up with the terminologies. I can't. God bless you and your entire generation. Your head carry fresh oil. What did she say? Let me see. Did she say something? Gentlemen that carry. Okay. Okay. The gentleman that carry Ibon. I don't believe this crap. Le Baton, bought a house and they moved in. I'm sure this person got an A, bought a house. Wahala, wow. An A in English literature. Listen, let's see. I wonder who sent these lies to Naraland. Me too. Somebody that was obviously not very wise, because that's not going to help anything, right? That story is not going to help anything. Their relationship broke down somewhere. Yeah. Financial strain, a man that feels less than, which they mentioned there, can create strain in a relationship, can create stress and strain a relationship. That's the reality, right? But again, like I always said, there's no solutions that will make you avoid crisis. It doesn't exist. Don't let anybody lie to you. Okay? Don't let anybody tell you, if you follow this, you will avoid crisis. No, crisis will come from your blind spots. The question is, are you prepared to handle this crisis? Are you prepared to seek wise counsel so you can handle crisis and conflict when they do show up? And most people are not prepared. What they're doing is creating cookie cutter solutions that will never work. A lot of them are talking points, right? And those talking points only create blind spots. Like, for example, the example we just covered, that somebody said divorce is not an option. It's a talking point. It sounds nice and cute, depending on what angle you're looking at it from, right? Remember, depending on what angle you're looking at it from, right? What about the blind spot? Like the massive blind spot behind you that you will never see. If you turn around, there's another blind spot. What about that one? Right? Well, it starts with awareness. There's always a blind spot, right? And you need other people to help you, to say, hey, you didn't see this coming. Okay, it's okay. We're all like that. All of us are like that. I was talking to one of my older brothers that's helping us with the sponsorship of the event that's coming up in December, and he was like, I don't come into people's matter because I have my own. It's nothing bigger than that. I have my own, right? So anyway, if it happened, not to assist you, I'll come right to you. If it happened that way, that's wrong as hell, but still not sure if this is true. Yeah, if it's happened, yeah, it's wrong. Nothing new, right? And I guess the storyteller and what truth tellers are right. Now she's received what she deserved. Is that the picture you're trying to paint? That she got what she deserved? Because you're a weirdo. If you wrote that story like that, that was your intention, to paint that picture like that, you are a weirdo. Okay? Toby said, I totally agree. Some men are emotionally damaged. Don't poke the bear. Break up with them with wisdom. Your life is important. That's very, very important in this story. Ladies, it's very, very important. The reality is that as men, we do bottle up a lot of emotions. It's part of our coping mechanisms. It's basically what our experience requires. Oftentimes, because of social construct, we try our best to. Those of us that know better, we try our best to create systems around ourselves where we can be vulnerable. I feel safe to share with my wife, right? But a lot of wives don't necessarily. They don't help with a man feeling safe to share, because he might be shamed in the next hour with what he shared, right? So it's a very delicate thing, and a lot of men don't realize that the internet is not the barbershop. The internet will never be the barbershop. You need to find some of your buddies that's well balanced, not somebody that has gone through the same experience, who will tell you that you need to kick out to the curb. Not that person. That person's a weirdo too. I'm talking about people that are well balanced. Preferably, they are in a situation where they are well balanced. They might have gone through stuff, but they've seen the ups and downs, the yins and the yangs, and they can give you a well balanced counsel, right? But we have a lot of our folks moving mad, and the worst part about it is that they're not engaging in education with regards to relationships and marriage. They're winging things along. Wherever you just wake up another day anyhow, you know. So, yep, I agree with your point, MOP. If you want your woman to cook, there is a way around it. Yep. And if she stopped cooking because there's been crisis, you need to handle the underlying reasons first, the crisis, and stop running around the streets of the internet, talking about she's not cooking. Why is she not cooking? Because she used to cook, Abby. So what happened? Tell us everything, not just the side that justifies your own side. Everything. Maybe you're not capable of telling everything because you don't know how to hold yourself accountable. That is a real thing. You're not alone. Majority of us, we have a hard time holding ourselves accountable. We are quicker to point fingers than to self-reflect. But if you want to create extraordinary results in anything, you're going to have to rise above that, or what we call average, right? You're not going to be able to use that as an excuse, right? That, oh, everybody does that. That's not an excuse. That's a terrible excuse. Ignorance is not an excuse, ever. Especially not now, right? My husband does not force me to cook every day. For that reason, once he wants to eat something, I make it no argument. You know? Exactly. So let me bring Natu. Natu Alpha, how you doing? Natu,
I'm fine.
Natu.
I'm here.
What's going
on? A little background noise. I just got off work and got off the train.
Oh, you did? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So you said you wanted to give us an update.
So, right, the person that told me the story, like, I will send a screenshot after this live. He knows them personally. That's one. But one thing that made me believe a lot of stuff that he was telling me, he said he knows her as a very sweet person.
Knows her as a very strict person.
Yes, no, sweet person.
Oh, sweet person. Okay.
Yes, but what my friend said, he said, you know, but the husband might say otherwise. You know, when it comes to marriage, you can only know person from the other side, and the spouse will know from the other side.
Yes,
That was what my friend said.
Yes.
All right. Now, I will have told you that I know this woman personally because I had 2 occasions that I was supposed to meet her, which didn't happen.
Really?
One.
Oh, wow.
Yes, one. This my friend told me that, there's this lady in Orlando that braids. She's from the north. When next you come to Florida, we need to hook up so that you meet her. Because, you know, we from the north are not plenty. We need to form our own association. And I'm like, really need to.
Right.
So when I went to Florida, he was out of town and we didn't meet. But while I was in Florida in January, my friend's roommate was supposed to go braid her hair at this woman's place.
Okay.
And they messed up her appointment. And the woman was trying to like rearrange it for her, but because she was going on a vacation, she was upset. And my friend, not the woman, my friend's roommate just canceled it. So, but my friend was like, oh, we're going to go to this lady's place because Nadia is braiding her hair. She's from the north. She's very nice. You're going to meet her and see how people are making money in this hair business. We need to open salon. But because that one was upset and canceled our appointment, we didn't make it to the woman's place. Now, I'm going back to the whole story on the internet. Because every time I see anything, I screenshot and send to that my friend, I ask him. The truth is that they've never lived in separate houses. That's number one.
They did not live in separate houses, right?
No, they did not.
Okay.
Did she buy a second house? Yes, she did.
Okay.
But the second house was meant to be for Airbnb. And this guy that's our friend is supposed to list it for them. He sent me the pictures. He went and took pictures of the new house to help them list it. That was like a couple of days before this thing happened. But because he was busy, he promised her that weekend he was going to help her do it. The SUV that man was driving, she gave him $7,000 cash to put down for the down payment of the SUV.
Right.
That's so what they're talking about, she driving him, she disrespecting him. What I knew that she did that intimidated him was that she did a body makeover.
She did a body makeover. Yeah. That's why I couldn't see that's why we can't see a gap anymore. She had a gap.
Yeah, she did a makeover. So I don't know if you felt like a little intimidated by that. Which is possible. We're married people, so we know how that works.
Yeah, because if I'm looking at this picture right here, she had a gap here on this picture here.
And she didn't have it anymore.
Right, and she doesn't have it anymore on the newer picture that everybody's taking around.
So I was now asking the guy, I said, is it true that he's an IT guy? He was like, no. Was he a soldier? He was like, no, because I asked him some personal questions about the military and he couldn't verify it. So I don't know where they're getting that information from.
Well, the soldier part was he was a soldier earlier on as a 21-year-old in Nigeria. That's possible.
Bro, but they asked him a question about him being in the military and whatnot. If you are with your full chest, you know now. So even that LinkedIn this thing he did, we're all Nigerians. We know how people like boost their resume or whatever, pep it up to like make people think that you're doing this and that. Even this job that I got, I put a lot of stuff on my resume that I wasn't doing just to get the job.
Right. That's
You
have to.
So right. So it's normal.
So
But the
that's
benefit is,
that's probably what the LinkedIn is.
yes, but for the soldier thing, I don't think I will go through something like that. I want to deny it or not have proof for it. Like I own that shit with my full chest.
Did somebody ask him directly?
Yes.
Who asked him?
Yeah,
directly?
this is our friend. This is our friend. I'm telling you. I was telling you the screenshot of the chat after this thing. He said he
okay.
asked me some stuff about being in the military personally, and the guy couldn't verify it. Because this is my friend.
Okay.
I'm telling you about. Yeah.
What was the relation between this your friend and him?
So this my friend met Sarah in Orlando, and she found out that he's from the north because he's from Adeyemo, and she now took him like her brother. So he goes to the house, like she gives him food. So he said this part about not cooking. He's like, when he goes to Sarah's house, he's got food for like 1 week. She'll pack food for him. Like, let me give you soup. Because his wife is Nigerian, she has not come here yet. So he will like, let me give you food, let me give you soup, let me give you this. And the husband used to say, when the guy comes around, he'll be like, hey, you don't come my house, so my wife will pack all our food, give our brother now. Our brother is here. Because that's what she calls him. So he knows that he's even telling me that this man wants to start car importation business for people that buy cars. So he registered a business. This my friend supposed to create a website for him because the guy is a pilot and he's good with IT too. This is our friend.
Yeah.
He said he created what is it called? Complimentary card for him. And then he's supposed to create a website for him. He even bought the domain name already.
Right.
And everything. And this guy has not paid him. I said you'll get it from his jail allowance.
Wow.
I said wait for jail allowance, you get your money from there. But so he was giving me that download. He's like, this is what the guy is trying to go into that business because I was encouraging him to do it since he likes cars.
Right.
So he's gonna start onto that business. People that buy cars from Nigeria, all these people that buy online from Copac and the rest, he's gonna be handling the shipping for them. So that was what he wanted to go into. That never happened.
Yeah. So I'm starting to believe the depression part, right?
Gotcha.
The depression part is real, right? The issue with a lot of Nigerians, and I hear it online all the time, is that they don't believe in anything that's labeling anything as a mental health condition.
No, they don't.
They're not open.
Do you know how long it took? You know how long it took my husband to go to therapy? He said we don't need therapy.
Yeah.
Like boldly, he told me I had to start going to therapy by myself.
Right.
My dad started seeing changes before he enrolled in his own. Like the day he enrolled, I didn't believe it. I did not believe that man enrolled because he told me, we started couple therapy. We did 2 sessions. He called the guy and canceled. He's like, it's not working.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you talking about?
Because many people just go there and argue, and everything, marriage, relationships, mental health, people are looking for quick results, like instant results. They're not patient with themselves. Like, listen, if you're anybody above 25 years of age, wherever your age is, that's the number of years that you've been yourself. You can't expect to adjust on a faulty side of your temperament or personality or how you show up in relationships. You can't expect to fix that overnight. It's not. The only thing you can do on first day is identify what you're looking for. What is the exact result you're looking to achieve? And then we draw out a plan on how to get there. That's all you can do on the first day.
And also the backstory of like she being the kid's favorite parent.
Right.
It's not true. This is the story behind that one. Okay. She has 3 girls. She does hairdressing. She has trained all her girls to know how to do that business very well. So sometimes instead of her bringing somebody from outside and paying the person, she will let her daughters do it to make their own money. Tell me what is wrong in that, please.
I mean, they're
So because
20.
they're always,
The first one, according
yes,
to that story, is 24, 3 years old
yeah, I think
or
22 or something
thereabout.
like that. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and
So,
there's
so
one
that
that's
that
30.
there's
He,
nothing wrong with that.
he said all the things. So they're always in the shop with her because they're doing that with her. They're helping her. She's teaching them. So it's, yeah. Listen, we've had a situation where our dad said that we prefer our mom more than him, and my mom herself we prefer our father more than her. So that's very common with parents. And their mom is doing something that she feels she can empower her kids, and she's dragging them into it. So I don't know if he's having problems there because the girls are becoming very independent too, that they can source for some things by themselves. I don't know. I feel like
Yeah.
he's supposed to be proud of that. But
If that was me, now it's easier said than done. Okay, because pride is not anybody's mate. If you are soaked up in your pride, it's very difficult. The way you will see it is that I can't accept nonsense. That's how you will see it.
MOP. Let me tell you something. I started doing business when I was 14.
Okay.
My dad was a vet doctor. My mom
Okay.
was my mom, she's a teacher, but she's retired. My parents are like, they had decent salary, good for us. But I started business at 14, and my parents supported me so bad. One of my uncles was saying that why would my dad be in this position? And he retired as a director of the federal government. Why would my dad be in this position and let us be doing all of this? My dad is like, no, let them be independent. My dad made me have a petty book that if they need something in the house, he would make me give them the money and I write it down. At the end of the month, I'll then tell him how much he has collected and I'll charge him 10% interest on top. I was making kunu at 14. I was
Wow.
making quiz cake
And you
supplying
were
in my
learning.
area. Yes, I was making 300 in a day from
Yeah.
kunu at that
Yeah.
time at 14. This is like 26 years ago.
You see, there is no. Hold on one second. Let me read this chat real quick. African men will tell you straight up that any little thing, Americans start going to therapy because they do not have mental strength. I know that's a very ignorant statement, right? And I'm like, we have a lot of trauma that can help our men to address some issues that can make them better men.
I mean, just digress a little bit, right? I was listening to a podcast today, and it was talking about the Perrys. Remember this? I don't know what's her name, Jackie Perry and her husband.
Jackie Perry,
And
who's
they,
that?
yeah, she's a preacher.
Oh, a preacher. No, I don't know them. Yeah.
Yeah, they have a podcast, the Perry. And they were talking about how bad the church is lacking when it comes to men, and we're only having more women in the church because pastors are forgetting that these men, they don't need you to just guide them or to tell them what to do, but they need to be mentored and discipled. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because they say something like the reason why some men don't go to church is because a man wants to be celebrated. That's the masculine this thing that is there. But when you
he
get
wants
to
to
a
be
church and the person
appreciated.
right, but when you get to a church and your pastor is the only person people are celebrating and talking about, you don't want to be there.
Yeah.
So now it's the pastor's job to now break that this thing and be able to make himself reachable to these men, mentor them and disciple them. But no, they want to focus on women and how women can be good wives and forgetting how to train these men to be good men. And the person posting talking about, oh, he was a good and gentleman. Good and gentleman, like my sister said in the chat, what are you doing with Bindiga?
Yeah. It's that's a little bit too late to be painting that picture. Not after somebody's life just.
When I saw the whole story, I'm just like, these people just trying to make it look, because she's not here to tell her story now, so they will say anything. For the man
I mean,
to get
well,
millions.
it's
You
Shalaye with
understand
no
what I'm
evidence,
saying?
so it's going to court. They're going to drag it out. It's going to be rough for that family. Because she's the main breadwinner. I'm sure the kids will continue. But it's going to be hard for them to forgive him. It's going to be a hard journey for them.
The eldest daughter said she doesn't want to have anything to do with him.
Well,
The eldest daughter said she doesn't want to have anything to do with him.
yeah, they it's tough. Anyway, it's tough. But
It's
anyway,
tough.
I was saying when you look at this story, right? If it was me, I want to say first of all, it's easier said than done. When you're soaked up in your emotions, especially if it's pride in nature, right? If you're caught up in, oh, your wife is doing better than you, and you've tried and tried and tried, and then you start to question your own capabilities, right? When you start to mess with your ego, it's a very difficult thing to go through. You have to humble yourself. Just like anything that's worthwhile in life, you will be humbled. So when you've been humbled like that, to accept this is another stage entirely, right? There's no how big that business is, right? The biggest business in this world right now, there's a big ass career page on their website where they are still hiring people.
Right.
You know why? Because there's always a place to add value, right? There's always some kind of need that they have. Even if it's as simple as to replace somebody else that's not being useful for them, right? But there's always a place. So even these are the biggest entities in the world, biggest superstar, rock stars, right? That you can say they don't need you. They need something. So no matter how rich your wife is, she's making $1,000 a day, whatever, right?
She's making 4,000, minimum 4,000 a day, not 1,000.
So if she's making that kind of money, her problems are bigger than yours. You can be part of our solutions. You just need to sit down and find where you can help her. It could be in scaling the business. It could be in optimizing the business. It could be, it could start with something as simple as running errands. In your head, you're thinking, your ego is telling you, I can't be running errands for my wife, right? But someone like me will look at this as, Baba, you got money. My wife, God bless you. God bless you. We're going to take this to the world. My children.
You know this thing that you're saying, right? I could relate to when my husband moved from Nigeria to America. And it took him a month and a half to start working because someone was ready to give him a job already as a security guard, someone that I know. And he was waiting for his green card and everything to come in. And even when my husband started working, so imagine that you are an MD in Nigeria and you come here to be a security guard. It was a struggle.
It's a humbling. It's a humbling experience. But I hope your husband understands this moment. That moment is the best moment of his life because to give him a frame of reference.
But let me tell you something. Exactly. But let me tell you something. It took time for him to be humble because he could not wrap his head around it.
I know. It's
so
tough.
Now I was the one that was receiving the backlash. It was a huge. I don't even know how we're still together today. Because we were fighting that time all the time, every damn time. Because you have a job, you're driving to your job, blah, blah, blah. You go 9 to 5. I get odd hours. I have to work this. I'm standing the whole day. I'm working in the snow. Now, when I'm tired of fighting, and I have to borrow myself some more sense, after Pastor I started talking to us, plenty counseling session, didn't work. I started borrowing myself sense. I started praying more. And God started instructing me. See, the first time God said, pray for your husband, I had a conversation with God in that car. I said, God, you didn't know what this man told me.
Like what?
Pray! God, this man cost me. Pray how? No. For 4 days, I was refusing to pray. I'm telling you that. I went back and forth. But when I started doing it, what happened? My husband was so humble to the place that he came and said, babe, I want to write a certification. This is what is going to cost me. I cannot contribute this amount.
Yeah, it goes. If a woman is able to see these things this way you're saying right now, it goes a long way in helping him.
So he was like, can you chip in? I'm like, sure. I told him I was driving my husband to Maryland and take a class every Saturday. I did that for 8 weeks before COVID hit.
Yeah.
Every day, every Saturday to Maryland.
Because not to think about it like this, right? The pride and the ego, for you on the receiving end of it, it looks like a weapon, right?
Right.
But it's actually a weakness, right? He needs you. You know, the social construct paints a picture that men don't need women, right? But these are actually the moments when they need you the most, right? Now, the other side of it is that should you be pouring from an empty cup? I don't think you should pour from an empty cup.
No.
But you're probably already pouring from an empty cup when you engage your own ego and you want to show him shege too.
You are so right about that.
So
because
that's going to consume your energy anyway.
Because I'm like, it's going to be a shege competition. That's what I used to say.
Yes, it's not a competition.
I said we will show ourselves shege.
No? And no one benefits from that. You don't benefit from it, it doesn't.
And when I tell you that I have mouth, I mean I have mouth. Because I can be keeping quiet, but the day I say I will talk, you don't like me. But like sometimes if it's my husband will do something and you look at me like, my wife don't change you. Because I'll just be there pressing my phone.
Right.
Like, no, we're not gonna do that.
Yeah, so those are some really, really big lessons there. I think it's a matter of, for somebody who got caught up in their emotions, pride, ego,
And you know, it's
depression
two
was
things.
real in that.
It's for you willing to learn, willing to like allow yourself open to get help from your partner. Because sometimes when you're getting that help, because I remember there was a time my mama used to say, "Is it because you're doing this thing? Is it because I'm like, you need to stop telling me that. I don't
Yeah,
want to
that
hear
will
that.
start
I really don't want
triggering
to hear
you.
that."
That will start triggering you the opposite direction
It
too.
was.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was.
yeah.
And honestly speaking, he himself would tell you until he stopped saying some words, he didn't understand fully the wife that he had.
Yeah,
Do you understand? Because he
yeah.
wasn't getting the best of me. Because I was
Yeah.
just giving bare minimum.
But it's good. It's good that you went through that,
Yes.
because
Oh, I'm glad we did.
yeah, because a lot of
I'm
people
glad we
they don't understand the blessing in the crisis. They don't understand the blessing in the conflict, right? All they see is just I'm a victim, right? And if you've gone through this kind of situation and you come out on the other side, it makes you appreciate what you have even more.
Oh, yes.
And then you tend to nurture it even more. But
Just a
unfortunately,
quick story, right, MFP? Just a quick story. So I used to be like, when we fight that time, and I'll be like, how did I end up with this guy? I'm not joking.
yeah,
That's what I used to
you
say.
will question compatibility. You will question it was the wrong choice. You will question maybe it was the foundation.
Yes.
People are starting to say that now. It's like once they start saying it too much, I say, okay, it's not. It is not. It's not
Yes.
any of
No,
those
so
things.
when I started channeling spiritually, I started seeing some things. First of all, I don't like cooking. Number one.
Oh, you don't,
This
Abby?
one does not bother me. That's why I started having my blessings. Yeah.
Right,
I
right,
said
right.
once I just show up with a straight face, this one will say we are ordering food. I'm telling you. All I just need to say is that I don't feel good.
That's
Once
good.
I say that,
If it's in a place
we're
of
ordering
understanding
food.
like that, that's all it takes.
Yes.
You might,
Yes.
a woman, the way I look at it is this, right? If my wife can't cook or she doesn't like cooking, right? I would like her to cook something for me once in a while. That
Oh,
looks
at
that
least
looks
once a
like
week.
yeah, that
Once
looks
a week,
like
twice a week.
no, I'm not. I'm even talking about the effect of her. I
Right.
recognize that as a gift because I know she doesn't
So,
like cooking.
see, I cooked on Sunday and I didn't have to cook Monday, yesterday, Sunday, Monday, and yesterday. But yesterday he was like, we had rice and we had soup. And he was like, oh, I feel like eating pepper soup. And I'm like,
Right.
okay, let me bring out the goat meat. And he was like, no, don't worry about it. I'm like, no, we're making pepper soup this night. Because I had 3 days off that I didn't have to cook.
Right.
So, but now because he wanted that, I was going to make that.
Right. It's just like a gift. It's like a nice gesture,
Yeah.
right? As opposed to because a woman who can cook, who actually can live, breathe, and cook all the time, when she gives you food, see finish go enter that one. It's like
Yep.
she doesn't appreciate that she's giving. She doesn't appreciate the idea that she's giving you food because it's nothing to her. You don't appreciate it because you get it all the time, right? So again, it is case by case by case by case. Everyone is different. Everyone's situation is different, right? So eventually, when people see the same story over and over, they start projecting it everywhere like it's what's happening to everybody.
Right. Okay. So let me finish the story real quick. So, and then I started comparing because
Yeah.
I was like, my two sisters' husband goes to do their grocery, blah, blah, blah. But let me tell you the downside of the story. My two sister cooks every day. Because the husband likes fresh food. So I'm like, wait a second. Why am I comparing?
Yeah, you need to compare the other side too.
Yeah, no. But no, because I was saying that he's not doing what my sister's husband was not doing. But now I forgot the things that I was benefiting from.
That's what I'm saying.
And then-
you need to, if you're
yeah,
going to
and-
compare,
and
you
then-
need to compare all the way around.
And then lastly, because I had a rape history when I was younger.
Okay.
So that affected my sex life a little bit.
Okay.
But I was able to open up to my husband and he was able to walk around it with me.
Right.
And then one day in your show, at Auntie B's show, and then back in your show, the same day, they were talking. You guys were talking about how people, once they just have issues in their marriages, they want to throw it away, and people don't want to like work on their marriages. And Auntie B was making situations where she's like, "I'm not encouraging people to break up if they have problems. DV is not the same as like regular marriage problem that you work on. When people have issues, like you have to check your side and check your husband's side. Like you get
Yes.
grace on some things, and you have to give. And then I came back to your show, and you were talking about giving grace because the person gave you grace to. And I said, you know what? Let me go work on
Yeah.
my shit. And I was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
that was
Yeah,
when I started
it's
blowing
true.
myself
It's
sense.
true. It's
And
true
I
all
became
the
frequent.
time. It's true all the time because it's a yin yang thing. People want to talk about reactions and actions. The truth is that every action is a form of reaction. You just might not see what is being reacted to.
Yes, yeah.
You know.
Chinya, yes, every
So
day. Oh, my sister is a chef too, so she loves cooking. She doesn't have a problem with that.
yeah, yeah. So you can't. So you can't. So when you are measuring against other people or using other people as your benchmark, let's be guided, right? Let's be guided. Make sure you assess the situation. You really want to just become a better of yourself. You want your relationship to be
Yes,
better than itself, not comparing to
yes,
other people. With that being said, there's a place where there's a benchmark across society and say this is, this is what things are supposed to look like. But we have to be guided ultimately. When is the right time for me to say, this is what you should normalize? I'll tell you. When is the right time? I want you to look at yourself, right? Ultimately, if we were to look at where you should spend most of your energy, is in yourself and becoming a better version of yourself every day, right? If you focus on that, by the time you're looking at the society and everybody else, you've outpaced most people. You've outpaced most people as opposed to you're now looking at them every day. You're spending your energy looking at other people. So this depression comes from that too. Depression comes from consuming social media too much, out of control, right? So we really have to be careful with that. So in this story, Sha,
but social media can be positive and negative too.
no, social media is a double-edged sword, just like anything else in
Exactly.
life. You
Okay.
can't blame social media for anything. It's the reality of our life, our experience, right? The only thing you can do with it is manage your experience around it. That's all you can do with it. And if you put any energy into trying to shame social media, you just collect because it's just a waste of energy. Nothing is going to change. But let me get your last word, Natsu. Let's round it up right here because I feel like, yeah.
Just like you said, sometimes we just need to put more energy on ourselves. And I'll tell you for free, sorry,
That noise is
the
a lot.
noise. Yeah.
No worry, no
So,
worry. We'll go continue the story another time if it's noisy on your
all
end.
right, all right, all right, all right. Thank you.
All right, later. All right, so all right. So in this story, what I see is shout out to all of you, 14 of you watching me live right now, and to hundreds of you that will watch this later. Let me know in the comment when you do come back later that you were here to watch the replay. Let me say this to you, okay? It's not a question if the story is true. We know that story was painted in a way to make him look innocent. It's as simple as that, okay? But usually with these issues, they are laced with truth, all different types of versions of truth, right? Which is why some people will say, well, some people are going through that. Yeah, I know that. Okay. However, I'm calling cap on throwing all of the children into a box. One of the children were born in 2018. That's 6 years ago. The children, a 6 years old child cannot. What about that one? That one is against you too. So there's a lot going on there. I do believe in the depression part of it. I believe that pride played a big part in this. Yes, on her part as well, because it's very difficult, especially if you're trying to help someone, right? And they don't want to seek help, or they don't want to use your help, or they're too prideful to get your help. Pride will take you on as well, right? It's just what it is. It will take you on. And then if a typical woman, if she's doing better than you and you're overreacting to the fact that she's doing better than you, every single ounce of her behavior is going to come off as pride, particularly to a person that's feeling depressed. It just makes sense, right? So at some point, somebody needs to shut everything down. And I prefer that it's person that's complaining, right? So in this case right now, she's gone. Unfortunately, sadly, the person that would be complaining or trying to paint this picture as the person talking, and they're probably going to tell more on themselves. Because if it was a lawyer listening to this story, they're going to be like, okay, all right, this is off the record. They said this one is off the record. Tell me this, that. Okay, some things are on the record. The police will tell you, well, you have the right to remain silent because everything you say shall be used against you. like shall be used against you, ni. Right? Why? Because they know you're probably going to do shalaye and explaining with no evidence.
We go explain because no evidence.
Right? That's why they said shut up. But somebody who is stupid enough is still going out there to put out a stupid story on Nairaland trying to paint the deceased as bad. Even if she was bad when she was here, she's no longer here. Could make sense. It makes no sense. It's wrong. Go wrong now. Right? Because there's no justice that will ever be good enough for that. Right? But let's rewind the times back to before August 26. If you find yourself in that situation, gentlemen, your wife is moving like she's prideful. That's how you see it, at least. And that's all that matters. That's how you see it, that's how you see it. How I see it is different. But what I can tell you is that you might want to check your mindset, because that is your wife, not my wife. Right? What is it that you can flip on the head? Right? Because your interpretations of the event of life will drive your next move, will determine the next best move. Right? Life events are happening every time. Somebody is looking on the other side, is looking at it half glass full, the other person is looking at half glass empty. Right? There's one of those or somewhere in between that will help you with the next best move, so you don't destroy yourself in the process. Right? Suru, laughing shoko obìnrin, especially if she's making more money than you. Right? That's temporary, by the way. No condition is permanent. But if you believe that's permanent, you will move mad. You will move mad. Right? How can you add value to that situation? She's making a whole lot of money. That usually means that she has more problems than you. More more money, more problems. You never heard that before? So how can you add value? That means there's more ways you can add value to her life. Just not the way you were taught in Ogbomo show. That's all. It's just not that way that you were taught in Oshogbo. Now you have to rethink. You need to renew your mind. You have to retrain yourself. Like, well, somebody has more money. Good for her. Good for us. Because that means there's more ways I can add value to her life. No, but she's not letting me into her life. Like, calm down. You haven't even taken the time to assess what we're talking about. Go and take 3 days to think about it first before you argue with your destiny. Go and take 3 days. There's no way you're going to identify how you're going to add value to her if you've already found yourself in a funky place where you're feeling depressed, where you're feeling like the whole world is against you. You're not going to figure that out right now. First thing first, know that when a person has more money, they have more problems than you. Right? And if they're in a relationship with you, that means you can help them. You just need to identify how you're going to help them, though. Okay? In a way that they will, if it's actually helping them, they will be receptive of it. If it's just your own idea of helping them, they might not be receptive of it. In that way, you have to go back to the drawing board and withdraw. Listen, active listening. Right? If there's been damages in the past, you've overreacted, it's going to take you a little bit extra work for them to be able to trust you again. It just makes sense. Okay? Okay, maybe not. Okay, maybe that's common sense. Okay. But get some sense. It's going to take a little bit extra work. Okay? If the trust has been broken, if there has been betrayal, right? But if they are a human being, if that person is a human being, they have something they care about. There's a problem they're trying to solve right now. They will break into pieces. If you become value to them, if you look like value to them, they will eat it up. They will eat you all up like Indomie. But that's your homework. How are you going to become valuable to them? That's seduction. That's going to inevitably create attraction. If you understand attraction as energy, okay, it takes time, process, patience, right? Start by not being so defensive when it comes to these topics. If your result is not what you're looking for, there's a reason. Okay, a lot of it is probably your ignorance. You just don't know what you don't know. It is what it is. You don't know what you don't know. Right? Your solutions are not going to be talking points. They're not going to be things like respect, submission, divorce is not an option. No, it's going to take you a little bit more than that, than just talking. You have to demonstrate these things in action. Because people, that's what they're watching at the end of the day, right? Their feelings, your action. Their feelings, your actions. That's it. All the rest of it is just shalaye.
Explain, because no evidence.
All right? That's all I have for you today. That's it. Hopefully you've been enlightened and educated. I'll see you on the next one.